So now they're going in a poll saying that Kamala Harris is up by 8. I'm the type of person who don't say, we can't believe the polls, we can't believe the polls. I don't say that. But when your poll now says you tested for every one Republican, 10 Democrats, 10% higher. So if you asked 1,000 Republicans, you asked 10,000 Democrats or 1,100. That's not a poll. And yes, that poll is wrong. The Democrat Party and their media allies, the press, freedom of the press, they are purposefully trying to disenfranchise Republican voters, purposely trying to disfranchise voters who think about voting for Trump so they can hold on to power, because Kamala Harris is in office now. She's the current vice president of this train wreck that's going on now. She is the current vice president. The difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans allow their enemies to exist. Republicans will not go after their enemies if somehow it harms one of the institutions they believe the founders helped establish and the founders will want, like freedom of the press. The Democrat Party has no problem going after institutions, constitutional amendments, and destroying the trust if it means that the Democrat Party will stay in power. That's the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. And I hate to say, sometimes you have to tear down to build up. I do revitalizations. What I do is I go into a home, remodel. I go into a home that's made in 1910, built in 1890. Beautiful house we did. We gutted it, tore it out. We remodeled it, added a room, kept the floors, because these floors was made in 1890 something. Kept the put plastic all in the crawl space and ran new lights and bought some classic lights to where it looked like the old lights originally it would have had in that year, 1890s, early 1900s. That's what the Republican Party has to do when they look at the Constitution. Some things need to be remodeled. And freedom of the press, the one that Democrats love to use to impose their will and right to protest. See, the Democrat Party already done remodeled the Second Amendment. They done tore it up. The Second Amendment today, if you would have told the founders this is what they're going to do, the founders would have picked back up the guns. What part about shall not be infringed upon don't you understand? He hit his wife, don't matter, shall not be infringed upon. He served time, don't matter, shall not be infringed upon. Oh, you wanted to give up your rights to deny others their rights. You do know at one time you used to be able to own a Thompson submachine gun. You used to be able, if you wanted to and could afford it, buy a BAR. Heck, there were private citizens with Gatling guns. That's right. At one time, you as a private citizen could own a Gatling gun in the 18th century. Right after the Civil War, when here we was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. Those guys had just got finished whooping Hind Part, but just because they didn't have enough troops and didn't have enough raw materials, they lost. So, they were allowed to have Gatling guns and Maxim machine guns. It was after the Great Depression when people start hitting banks and attacking Federal Reserves, they just got to start banning certain things. Then in the 1970s, and they start purposefully going after the Second Amendment. But nobody ever went after the first. Nobody ever went after the first, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of protesting. But now they're going after freedom of the press. So they're remodeling the First Amendment now to where they're trying to make the room smaller when it comes to freedom of speech. Republicans, maybe you need to do some remodeling and have it so some of these people who report the news get some of their stuff remodeled. Yeah, think about it.